Welcome to the Main Street Moments podcast. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We've got a lot to cover on the podcast today. There's a lot of Disney news, and there's also, of course, some Disney vlogger news that we're going to cover on the program as well. And first, let's get into this vlogger stuff, Kathy, because there is a vlogger that, to my knowledge, and if anybody has other examples of this, let us know in the comments.
Yeah. But
to my knowledge, one of the Disney vloggers has stepped up a big notch and has done something that I've not seen another Disney vlogger do.
No, and what happened is I was looking online at the Roosevelt shirts, which are worn by Paging Mr. Morrow all the time, Nate. And they're really cool shirts. So I was like, I'm going to get Brian one of these shirts because I'd seen them on Nate on his vlogger videos. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I thought those are really cool. And they have a lot of Disney ones and other things like that. So I was looking around. I ordered Brian a Star Wars one, and it's really cool. We got it in the mail, and he's already worn it a couple times. So then I was going to go back and order another one. And lo and behold, I'm looking at it, and I saw the Mickey Mouse Steamboat Willie, and I'll put the link in the description, and Nate was modeling it.
Yes.
I couldn't believe it. Not that he's a model, but I'm just saying good for him. That is awesome. I think it's a great idea because he wears those shirts all the time. He's always promoting their shirts. Well, I think it's fantastic.
Okay, now I'll tell you a couple things about this. I never even heard of these Roosevelt shirts, and I've heard Paging Mr. Morrow talk about them
That's how we heard about them from him.
And he even did a meetup on one of his vlogs, a Roosevelt shirt meetup at Disney he went to. And I got the one Roosevelt shirt. I love it. It's
really nice.
Very comfortable. And what I really like about it, because I like Hawaiian shirts and stuff because we're in Florida, it's really hot.
Yeah.
What I really like about those Roosevelt shirts is you don't have to iron them, right? You know, which is super cool.
Yeah.
So Nate, what he's done that I've not seen another Disney vlogger do. I'm not saying no other vloggers or YouTubers or travel vloggers. I'm talking very specifically about the Disney vlogger group. He's really a spokesmodel for the Roosevelt shirts. He's in their online catalog.
Yeah.
It is to me, it looks like a professional picture that they snapped of him that they put on there. He's featured there like he's a major celebrity. And I haven't seen the Tim Tracker or anyone else
or JoJo.
No, get a deal like that. I know people,
and they have a lot more subs than Nate. Mm-hmm. But he gets a lot of views though.
I think it's really amazing.
Yeah.
Because a couple years back, when Paging Mr. Morrow and his wife split,
Veronica,
he had a really rough time, and he did a vlog that's really like a TEDx vlog, a TEDx video where he talked about what happened when his marriage fell apart and he went back to Pennsylvania and then he came back to Florida and he was working at Denny's and didn't even really have a place to stay.
Oh, that was an amazing video. He was ready to give up. He moved back home and everything.
Yeah, he was sleeping on friends' couches, kind of sleeping in his car because he was closing at Denny's and then he had to open at Denny's and he was still vlogging. And then his channel blew up, and now he's
modeling.
Yeah, he's got like a modeling contract with the Roosevelt shirt people, which I thought was super cool.
He's a perfect spokesperson, representative because he's a regular guy. He's likable, and he wears those shirts. He's been wearing those shirts for years, so he is like a true lover. Yeah, it's sincere. It's not like they're paying him, and all of a sudden he likes them. He's been wearing those shirts for years and years. Yeah, promoting them. And his vlogs get a lot of views, so I'm glad they obviously reached out to him and gave him a deal. I don't know what his deal is. I'm sure he's getting compensated and probably lots of free shirts to wear and promote. And they have him promoting the Disney shirts. The one he has now, I didn't look around the whole website, so he could be modeling other Disney shirts. I don't know. I'll have to check it out, but I do have the link for the Steamboat Willie, which is sold out.
And by the way,
so that tells you the power of Nate because he's selling them out.
Paging Mr. Morrow, right now he has 222,000 subs as of this moment that I'm speaking right now. 222,000 subs. I do miss the vlogs with his wife. I thought they were awesome together.
She was just in Paris. She had a bunch of pictures there.
He was just in Europe too. He went over there for the Star Wars celebration.
I know they're still good friends.
I don't think they went together.
No, she was there with her family, I think, and
But I like Nate, and I think Paging Mr. Morrow next to us, because Main Street Moments, I think, is the best name of any of the Disney channels, but Page and Mr. Morrow's number 2. That's a good name, and I'm
They have
happy
a great name.
for him and his success. Now, also, since we're talking, we'll just keep it on the vloggers till we get to the Disney stuff, the Disney news. But I was very pleasantly surprised to see the Tim Tracker is back on the main Disney media list, which they got bounced off of a year or two ago. And he went to a special media event for this Christmas celebration at Hollywood Studios.
Jollywood Nights.
Yeah, and
which I really want to go to.
When he went to the Jollywood Nights media event, and I've seen him go to a couple of other media events in the last few months, but this one was different. This was a special media event, and he got called out by the guy that was running the whole event from Disney on stage, called Tim Tracker out by name.
He was wearing a Christmas suit, which was really cool. I guess they had to dress up like in Christmas clothes.
Yeah.
And that was a great video. I'll link it in the description too. You guys should watch it. They have this new event, because Hollywood Studios is my favorite park. And I'm really excited. We have reservations to go over Thanksgiving with our daughter. But I don't know if this Jollywood Nights will fall over Thanksgiving. The tickets go on sale soon, and it's only 10 nights. I don't even know if I'll be able to get tickets.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll expand it. But I'm really excited about it because I love all that old Hollywood stuff and the music and everything. And they talked about in this media event all the different overlays and things they're going to have just for those events. And I think they're just kind of testing it out this year. Because the Mickey's Christmas Party is super popular. But maybe if this Jollywood Nights is big, they'll do it every year and they'll expand it next year and add more stuff to it.
At Hollywood Studios, I mean, I still, remember when it was Disney MGM.
MGM, yeah.
But they used to have the best Christmas events ever when they had the family light display.
Right. That's the Osborne lights.
That was amazing. The Osborne family lights
Yeah.
display at MGM and then Hollywood Studios was the best thing they ever had at Disney for Christmas.
It was back where Batu and Toy Story Land, all that was just like a backlot.
Yeah.
And every Christmas, they had the Osborne family lights, which I think it was from somebody died in that family. I can't remember. And they would decorate that whole area. Now, there were no rides or anything back there. It was just a backlot you walked through or took a tram. And it was amazing. We went a couple times. And
I loved it.
Now, the Osborne family lights, I think they moved to a different park. I don't know where they are now, but SeaWorld does something cool for the holidays too now, which we haven't been to yet, but I do miss those Osborne family lights. That was amazing.
And Hollywood Studios, MGM, back then when they had like the New York streets and all that stuff, it was perfect for those lights.
Oh, so cool.
It was amazing.
I miss that a lot.
Yeah, so we're going to try to go to this event at Hollywood Studios, but there's so few nights and everything. I don't know if it's going to be possible if we're going to. I think they'll probably add nights.
I hope. Well, they're probably going to wait and see if people
it's going to sell out on day one. It's going to sell out day one.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
In fact, we have a trip coming up, and if we can get tickets, we'll change the days. If we get tickets to make it to that.
Yeah, we'll change the days. So,
but I'm looking forward. Hollywood Studios is the best park at night.
I love Hollywood Studios. I like Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom the best, but I don't like Animal Kingdom very much at all. In fact, I don't think I've been there in about 15 years since it first opened. Anything. I don't really love it. But Hollywood Studios, to me, I like it personally. Well, I love, the Star Wars rides, and I love Toy Story Land, but I really love Hollywood Boulevard, and that whole entrance area with the Tower of Terror is so cool, and all the old music they play, and the stores and the decorations. It's just, and at night, it's all lit up. It's so beautiful. It's really retro, and it's my favorite part.
Well, Hollywood,
to me, a comfortable park.
Hollywood Studios is best at night, the way it's lit up.
Yeah.
Magic Kingdom's number 2, but outside of Main Street, it's pretty dark at Magic Kingdom.
And Tomorrowland. Main Street and Tomorrowland are amazing at night. But that's it. The rest of the park, like you said, it's pretty cool, lit up by pirates, but and Thunder Mountain, the rides are cool, but walking around the park itself can get a little dark. And Haunted Mansion looks cool at night, but I'm just saying when you're walking around the park, it gets a little dark.
All right, now there's one last thing I just wanted to touch on with the vloggers, and then we'll get into some Disney news in itself. And we were talking last time about the live streamers and everything.
Yeah.
And we're watching more of the live streamers lately than we have. We stopped watching really a lot of the live streamers for quite a while, and we've been watching.
I didn't, but you did, I guess. I've been watching Resort TV1.
Yeah, but we're watching others. But I mean, mainly we watch Resort TV1 and Ron on the Go.
Right.
And Ron on the Go, the last couple weeks he tried to do this challenge, and he
oh
had,
my goodness, yes.
He had a great thing with that challenge on Smuggler's Run, which was amazing. We talked about it a while back, so I'm not going to go through that. It was an amazing live stream challenge he did. He was trying to break the record for riding Smuggler's Runs.
He did do it
the most times in one day, and then he did it. And he tried for 2 weeks in a row to do it with Pirates of the Caribbean. And Pirates is like the worst ride to try to do a challenge on. First off, it broke down constantly. Both weekends he tried to do it.
Always breaks down.
The line, I know they call it the queue, but I still call it the line. The line to get on that thing is a mess. It takes it depends. It takes between 45 minutes to an hour.
Do they have a single rider? Because I know on Smuggler's Run, he was using the single rider.
There's no single rider.
Okay.
So it takes 45 minutes to an hour from the time you get in line to complete the attraction. Sometimes it could take longer, but 45 minutes to an hour from getting in line to the completion of the ride. And he just kind of like failed 2 weekends in a row. And I guess he gave up on that.
Well, it's not that he gave up. It kind of gave up on him. But he gave it a good try. He kept waiting. He kept going back. And it was hot as hell. And he kept waiting and trying to do it. He tried 2 times. So put in the comments what you guys would like to see him do. He did the People Mover, which I've missed. And then Smuggler's Run. I'm not sure if he did any other ones. But put in the comments what challenge you'd like to see him do. And his challenges are where he rides the same ride and tries to break the record in a day for how many times he can get on that ride. So, and it's tough because when you have one that has a long line, doesn't have single rider, it can take a little longer. But I would love to see Slinky Dog or Mine Train or something.
Here's the thing, okay? And this is what I kind of picked up. But if Ron on the Go, here's this, this my thoughts as a watcher for whatever that means, okay? When he did Smuggler's Run, one of the things about it that built excitement is they had that single rider line.
Right.
So
it was fast paced.
He'd get into the single riders line. He'd get very far up through the queue before he stopped. With an attraction like Pirates of the Caribbean that does not have a single riders line, as a viewer, you spend too much time looking at the backs of heads, butts and backs and walls and stuff. There's not as much excitement, you know what I mean? So I think the challenges have to be with something that has a single rider line, because at least for a while, because watching the queue for a long time is kind of tough to watch.
I'm sure it's not fun for him.
Yeah,
because he has to keep people engaged, and he's very friendly and sociable. And I will say, Josh has been doing amazing live streams this summer. He has really been,
from Resort TV1.
He's been killing it. He did one the other day I watched where he was at Animal Kingdom. I don't like Animal Kingdom. I almost wasn't going to watch it. But the Kilimanjaro Safari, to me, I just cannot watch. I'm sorry, guys. It's too damn long, and you just hardly see the animals. But after that, or he did it later, I can't remember. But he did Everest. He did one ride I never see anybody do is that the one where you sit on the round thing, the rapids.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
I've never been on that ride because I have a medical pump and I can't go on any water ride. I can't get wet. But he did that ride. I've never seen Josh go on that ride. And I was like, yes, this is awesome. You go. And then he's really been killing himself. So good for you, Josh. And what I've noticed, though, and I have a couple really good friends from college that live there. One of my sorority sisters manages the Coronado. She's the general manager there. And she did that. She was a college student that worked at Disney. So she's been with them since the 90s. But anyway, a lot of my friends live there. And my one friend goes all the time. And she is telling me all the time how empty the parks are and she's a Floridian like me. She's from South Florida, from Fort Lauderdale. And Josh, I've noticed on these live streams a couple times, he was at Epcot last week for the Tranquil Tuesday. Him and Ron were both there. And he got off the land and and this was like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. That eating area was completely empty. And I'm like, this is what it was like in the 90s at Disney. The night times were empty. And then the other day he was at Animal Kingdom and he was eating in the restaurant and there was nobody there but him. I couldn't believe it. Because Animal Kingdom's hot. So usually the restaurants are crowded for people to get out of the heat and get something to eat and drink. And I caught the tail end because I was kind of in and out. I caught the tail end. The parks are really empty right now, which surprisingly for summertime. And there's different reasons I feel. It has a lot to do with the complication of planning a Disney vacation. It might have something to do with their politics. It might have something to do with the cost or a combination of all these things. Tell us if you canceled or are postponing. And now my friend thinks it's because people are saving up for Epic Universe for next year.
Yeah, maybe.
Tell us in the comments if you have canceled or postponed a Disney trip. Why? Why did you do that? Are you saving for Universal? What's the reason?
Okay, now this is the last thing with the vloggers, I promise. Okay, last thing with the vloggers.
I don't want to forget this.
No, I didn't want to forget this. Provost Park Pass is doing something that they were going to do and actually started doing, and then COVID hit and shut down the world and shut down the Disney park. So Provost Park Pass is going to finally do the worldwide tour of all the Disney parks in the world.
Oh, exciting.
And I'm really excited.
That'll be awesome.
In particular, I'm interested in Provost Park Pass when he goes to Hong Kong, because you don't see a lot of Hong Kong, which is a smaller park. Japan, because most people that go to Japan, they just kind of blow through the park and don't do too much over there. And, of course, Shanghai. But he's going to go to all the parks around the world, which I'm really interested in watching. And
is that going to be like a summer series?
I don't know if it's good. I think it's going to be soon. I don't know if it's going to be done all over the summer, if he's going to do it in a row. But there's one thing that I would recommend that he do. And I know Justin Scard, and this is such a strange thing for Justin Scard. He's a Disney guy, no doubt about it, and he's out in Anaheim. Justin Scard's vlogs on Disneyland Paris are the best that I've ever seen anybody do. He is an expert on Disneyland Paris.
He's been there many times, too. He's very good.
Justin Scard knows everything about Disneyland Paris.
Yeah.
And I think it would be so super cool if he went there with Justin Scard.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
At least for part of it.
That'd be amazing.
Because he knows so much about it. So anyway, that got shut down. They started doing that trip, Provost Park Pass.
I remember that, and then they had to cancel.
And even part of that trip involved the Disney cruise out of Miami, and then when COVID happened, it got stopped. And
is he going with his wife and his son, or is he just doing
I think the way they did the announcement together, but it seemed as if she's not going to go to all of them.
Maybe not all, but maybe some. Well, she's got a kid at home.
Yeah,
got like a son that's probably like 8 or 9.
But he is going to go, and that's Provost Park Pass.
Yeah, and they'll be good.
And they won one of our Vlogger Awards this year. I believe it was for the most creative.
Yes.
Because he's super cool and super creative, and I love Provost Park Pass. One of my favorite, if not my favorite, Disney vlogger. And and the worldwide tour. See, he does very detailed, in-depth looks at different rides and attractions at all the parks he goes to. And when people go to these other parks, like JoJo went to Tokyo Disney recently. And I mean, he barely showed anything. I mean, it was like, I don't know why he went.
JoJo's vlogs suck. He's just really lost his way. They're really awful and boring.
And I saw
he's made him too much about him.
Yeah. And who else has gone to Tokyo? Prince Charming Dev went to Tokyo. Yeah. Those were not very much there. The Trackers went there a couple years ago. I haven't seen anybody really do an in-depth look.
That was good.
at Tokyo. Hardly anyone has gone to Shanghai, and Hong Kong is really almost a forgotten one. So I'm really excited about it.
I recommend you guys Google. Now, my favorite ride out of all the parks, now I haven't been there. I had a chance to go when I was in college, but I didn't for some stupid reason. When I was in college, I went to Paris for a week, and I could have gone to Disney. It was called Euro Disney or whatever back then.
Yeah, it was Euro Disney then. Yeah.
And I could have gone, but I don't know if this ride was even this way. But the Haunted Mansion in Paris is the best ride I've ever seen. I've seen many videos of it. Maybe one day I'll get there. It is the coolest ride at any of the Disney parks. But the second another one I have not been to, but I've seen videos in high def, is Pirates at the Shanghai Disney.
Oh, man.
That they have, you have got to watch a video of that if you never get to go.
It's amazing.
They do this cool thing where they simulate it where you go down under the ocean with all the shipwrecks, and they have an animatronic of Jack Sparrow that turns from human to the skeleton.
Yeah.
And he flips the coin in his fingers, because I love the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. And that ride is so amazing. Google that, and the Haunted Mansion Paris is incredible to me now. I'm really excited because our daughter is in California now. She just moved to Los Angeles. She's 30 minutes from Disneyland. So she's been going, she's already gone. We got her an annual key holder pass, and she's gone 6 times in the last 3 weeks. She just loves it there. She prefers Disneyland, as we've told you. But I'm excited for her because she's getting ready to buy tickets for the Oogie Boogie, which you're going to go to with her. And she said key holders get to the opportunity to buy the tickets first. Mm-hmm. But she's going to get to see that overlay of the Haunted Mansion with the Night Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. I've seen video, but you guys will get to see that. That'll be really cool.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get into the Disney. And this is this news about the huge loss that Disney's taken on their movies. Let me read through this story.
Oh, yeah.
Box office analyst has estimated that Disney lost $890 million on their last 8 theatrical releases, which includes The Little Mermaid and Elemental. Okay, and this is a box office analyst, so they know these things. The films include those Black Panther,
Wakanda.
Yeah, the new Thor: Love and Thunder, which. When I saw that trailer of Thor, it looked like a parody movie. Like they made Thor a girl. I
don't know what they're thinking.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, the Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Strange World and Lightyear are just outright bombs, they say.
Those 2 movies were horrible.
Yeah.
They were horrible.
And everyone is predicting that Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which opens this week, I think, on Friday, is going to bomb. And let me tell you.
It includes The Little Mermaid, too.
And the Avatar.
Their meaning is internationally, The Little Mermaid did not do well. Domestically, it did very well. And I, for one, am very excited. I've seen clips. It looks amazing. We're waiting for it to be on Disney Plus because we don't have a movie theater in our city anymore. But I cannot wait to see that. But internationally, it did not do well for some reason.
The new Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny, it's coming out, and I'm old enough to have seen Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark in the theater in its original theatrical release.
That was so exciting.
I was 10, 1981,
yeah.
And that was a great movie. But,
great movie.
The thing with that movie, all the press about it has been awful. They're trying to pass the torch from 80-year-old Han Solo here, Harrison Ford, to this actress that's playing a character that has no connection. Apparently, I've tried not to read spoilers on the new Indiana Jones movie, and I'm not going to give you any spoilers because I haven't seen it, and I have been avoiding them. But I've watched some spoiler-free reviews, and I've heard different reviewers give the exact same description of the movie, that the first 20 minutes is the most incredible Indiana Jones since Raiders of the Lost Ark. But after that, it's terrible. And the new character, the woman, is his goddaughter, who is the daughter of a character we've never heard or met or even mentioned in any Indiana Jones movie, which is ridiculous. And it's going to bomb. And if you can't get me excited about an Indiana Jones movie,
oh yeah, that's our childhood. Brian and I both grew up going to see Star Wars and Indiana Jones in the theaters.
I'm going to wait to see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny when it's on Disney Plus or on demand.
Yeah,
and if it was on Disney Plus for pay, I would pay to see it Friday, but I'm not going to go to the theater. I even saw that one they did a few years ago. This is the first Indiana Jones movie I've not seen opening weekend, opening day in the theater ever. Yeah. And I'm not even interested.
They have all the Indiana Jones movies on Disney Plus now. We watched Raiders the other night, and
the second movie's not worth watching, guys.
Brian, the problem is the second Save Yourself time. It's horrible. The problem is
Temple of Doom.
Not just a Disney Plus problem. Or a Disney problem. Movies in general are awful. They're awful. It is now. Brian and I watched Luca. We've been watching a lot of Disney movies, and we watched The Little Mermaid, the cartoon, and we watched Luca a couple weeks ago. Luca's a great movie, and Encanto's a great movie. So they have had some good movies, but they've had more misses than hits. But the problem is movies in general, they are rehashing ideas. There's no original ideas anymore. Disney is in this trap of remakes. They're doing a live action Bambi. You really want to see Bambi's mom get killed in like live? No, thanks. They're doing a live action of Moana. That might be good. I guess Dwayne Johnson's going to be in it. They got like 4 live actions coming up. They're in this live action. Lilo and Stitch. That I want to see because that's one of my favorite films. So I don't mind the live action remakes. Okay, some of them are pretty good, and I don't mind seeing everything kind of fleshed out. But the Marvel movies have got to stop. I mean, my God, they had another one come out with Samuel Jackson.
Yeah.
Please stop. I know they're trying to milk this franchise because they have the Marvel University, wherever the hell it's called, at Disneyland, which is cool. But the problem is they acquire these things, they put them in the park, and then they want to keep making the movies to keep you coming to the park. But they crank these movies out when they really shouldn't be cranking them out anymore. It's getting old. It's getting tired, and would like some original ideas. Like Luca is very good. It's in Italy with the Vespas. It's fantastic. And Encanto was fantastic.
I have a Vespa, so I want.
Yeah, Brian. So Brian watched it because I said, "Oh, it's got a Vespa."
Okay,
there's a
couple things going on.
Original good ideas.
The last, I know this will sound kind of ridiculous, but the last super good production I saw that Disney put out was that Muppet Haunted Mansion, which I thought was really good. It's on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus, yeah, that was
really on Disney Plus.
Well, they got a new Haunted Mansion movie coming out.
The new Haunted Mansion movie, I'm looking forward to that.
Hopefully, it's good.
That looks like it's a more adult movie. As
the Eddie
opposed to
Murphy
little kids.
one was not that good.
So I'm looking forward to that. But not much else. But I'll tell you, we watched The Little Mermaid, the original cartoon, a couple nights ago, and it was the first time I had seen that movie since our daughter was a little girl, and our daughter's 24 years old now.
Yeah, that was her favorite.
And I have not watched that movie in 20 years or more. Yeah. It is really good.
It's very
good. You know what I liked? You know, one thing I liked about the original Little Mermaid, it's a very good movie and everything else, but the running time is perfect. It's not too long. There's not really any added scenes for filler. And now these, like the live action Little Mermaid's like forever long, and they make movies way too long now. I don't know why they want to have these long run times. But the run times turned me off from wanting to watch them. And the Jungle Cruise live action, I thought was awful.
I hated that movie.
We watched it.
The Rock
once,
was just horrible casting.
Well, the story was stupid.
Yeah, it was a guy in a submarine in some Amazon lake or whatever. Dumb.
I didn't like the story at all.
No, the villain was ridiculous.
And the Jungle Cruise movie should have been more of a comedy than it was. I know they tried to make it an action comedy, but it wasn't. It should have really been, a lot of people like that movie though, but we just happened to. Who should have been in it is, oh boy, who's the guy? Gad.
Josh Gad.
Josh Gad.
He would have been good in that.
Well, Josh Gad used to be a skipper on the Jungle Cruise at Disneyland.
He would have been very funny.
And having that connection of how he was really a skipper.
That would have been really cool.
In real life
for marketing.
Before he was famous.
Yes. Great for marketing.
That would have been amazing.
Disney needs another Pirates of the Caribbean movie. That movie, I remember when we saw that, I just feel like they're on a lower budget with their films. They're just not up to that level. And Pirates of the Caribbean, I've seen that movie, the first one, about 50 times. I love the music. I love everything. It's a perfect film. And I remember when that movie came out, it was a phenomena. And I don't remember the last time Disney had a movie like that where everybody saw it.
Like Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's the old Disney where everybody was talking about it, where it was like just a good time, having fun. You know what I mean?
The first Star Wars movie they had with Rey, even though it's awful, everybody went to see that because it was the first Star Wars movie in so long. But other than that, it's, no,
it didn't have
nothing.
The excitement of
what they're doing, they're in
Pirates.
They're in this remake phase, and they've done a lot. Like the Beauty and the Beast live action was good,
very good.
The Lion King they did was good. I like that.
I don't love The Lion King. It's okay.
It was good. The Beauty and the Beast was very good. But one of the things they don't get is with Star Wars, and the same goes for like Indiana Jones. These movies were a special thing at a special time. Like Raiders of the Lost Ark was one of the biggest movies ever.
Oh my gosh.
And,
huge.
It was in 1981. That was a year after Empire Strikes Back, and Harrison Ford was like the biggest movie star in the world.
Yep.
And you had that whole Star Wars phenomenon was still going on because Jedi hadn't come out. And going back and trying to recapture Indiana Jones is a loser. If they did a recast and did like a really good limited series like they've done with The Mandalorian, which, by the way, The Mandalorian's been on a season or two too long. This last season of Mandalorian was awful.
It should have ended when Luke came and got Grogu. I was crying in that episode.
Exactly.
It was so cool. And I'm like, that was the end of season 2. And I said to you, it should end right here. This is the perfect ending where they did some CGI thing, and Luke comes and takes Grogu to train him. And they had R2 with him. I was crying. It was like very emotional.
And Grogu is left Luke to be with Mando. That's such BS.
He loves him.
Whatever. He can come visit. Sometimes a show is on like a season too long. This happens all the time.
I'm looking forward to the Ahsoka one though.
Now the Ahsoka Tano show looks very, very good. I'm very because Star Wars Rebels is very good. Very good. And if you can, you should watch Star Wars Rebels. It's very good before you watch the Ahsoka Tano series, which is going to be because it's Ahsoka, but it's really almost like a sequel to Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah, and she is perfect casting.
And maybe even more than a sequel.
She's perfect casting.
And they got Thrawn in it. Now, some of the things they do are great, but most of what they do is awful.
Yeah, they're having, like I said, more misses than hits. And I've heard rumors that like Tiana is my favorite princess. I love that freaking movie. I've heard rumors that they are making a movie based on Thunder Mountain Railroad. I like movies based on the rides. That would be really cool if it's done right with the Gold Rush and everything and have like I like action adventure films. And I would also love to see a movie around Space Mountain, a space adventure. That's fun. That's like adventurous. That isn't political. And I think that's another part of the problem is people are tired of these movies being so political. Like Strange Worlds was horrible. But they had a political agenda they wanted to push, and that was their main focus, and the movie suffers.
There was just an announcement today about a new Star Wars character that's going to be transgender. That's just asking for controversy.
Or something.
Half the people are not going to want any. It's going to be Disney really doesn't need that kind of controversy right now.
I think Disney, because of Ron DeSantis, is going overboard trying to be like inclusive with everything, and I'm all for inclusivity and everything like that. But I don't know why it has to be made such a big deal with these characters, and then with Elemental, which I did not see. This is a movie that is not about people; it's about elements, and I think the fire element was non-binary or something. Why is that even a thing? Cartoon characters are asexual, right? I mean, they're supposed to be.
And elements are.
And elements especially. Elements are asexual. Why does an element of fire have to have a sex or a gender or what's wrong with it just being a girl or boy? But why does it have to make a statement? And that it's just bizarre. It's just bizarre to me. And when that becomes the main focus of the movie, then the writing suffers because they're so laser focused on that kind of pushing that the writing's no good because all their writing revolves around this character and building up this certain type of character.
Yeah, so anyway, that's right.
Those are my thoughts on that.
Well, anyway, we're out of time for today. We'll talk to you next time. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. It's the Main Street Moments podcast. Make sure you subscribe. We'll talk to you next time.